KP Pilatus PC-9M over Europe in 1:72 scale. So this is a new tool from KP, came out just a few weeks ago. They do 3 boxings in various variants, so this is the M version, and it's sporting a nice artwork by Carlos Alonso on the back side. There are the schemes presented that can be built from this kit, so the Croatian, Slovenian and Swiss one. So the only thing that I have to say negatively about the schemes is that the black stripes for the Swiss scheme are not included in the decals, so they have to be masked and painted. Both for the fuselage and the wings, but other than that, quite a nice options for this aircraft. So on the sides there's just some information about the company and warnings, and on the other side only the Slovenian scheme is presented. Also more information about the address of the company and how they can be contacted, and on the sides nothing more than the usual. So it's a side opening box, and inside there are the contents. So let's start with the instructions. So there's a little bit of history about this aircraft. So they're also mentioning the 3 versions that are produced. There are color callouts for Humbrol and also in their generic names, which is nice. So not much thought about that is needed to convert it in other paint producers. So here is the layout of the sprue. It's shown in one part, but it's basically cut down the middle to be able to fit into the little box, and there's also one transparency part for the canopy. The instructions are not that sharp, as somebody tried to copy this, so the intention was maybe to use thin lines, but doing it that way needs to also be printed out much bigger. This is an A4 format, and folded down it's an A5, so maybe that's the case for the designer that went wrong, but otherwise not that bad. It's all in all a short run kit, meaning the quality is a little bit less than the usual produced ones from the metal molds. And here is the first option if one wants to make this or that version. I assume they did the same instructions for all 3 boxes, but the decals provided here are only for the PC-9M version. After that, there's the step how to assemble the propeller and the exhausts to the fuselage, and then the wings to the fuselage, and here is also an option to choose between the parts, but this is the correct one for this boxing. And on the last page they instruct how to assemble the landing gear and also the weapons pylons. Also in the last step just the canopy is glued down, and that's it. They also provide here information for their in-house aftermarket, so there are masks for cabin and wheel, meaning wheel masks and canopy masks, also 2 machine guns. They're made in resin, should be 3D printed, yes, 3D set, so that's mean it's 3D printed. They also have wheels with undercarriage leg and exhausts, and they also have additional sets for undercarriage tanks and the rocket launcher. So all in all, those are 5 sets that can be bought directly from KP and their dealers. Jumping to the decals, really small sheet but beautifully printed. The carrier film doesn't overflow that much. Working previously with KP decals, they're okay, but kind on a delicate page, so one needs a lot of attention. But they seem quite sharp and in register, so no errors there. Even the control panel is nicely printed, and this little cross here means all is point on, so everything is centered, every color here, because they use screen printing to do that. I take my word back about the carrier film, so seeing it lightning, it overflows quite a lot, but once they're put down, should be okay. No silvering or similar, but that needs to be seen by building this kit. There is also even a logo if one wants to display on a stand or however, so that information can be added. There is only one error here in this kit, and that's this. There should be also seatbelt decals, but they are not included in this decal sheet. So the seatbelts need to be either done scratch built, or maybe this aftermarket has some seats here. No mention of that. So scratch building the seatbelts it is. As for the parts, there are not that many. So the Czechs like to do their kits in this nice protective foil, which is nice. And the transparent parts are also separately protected, so no scratches there in the transport. So as I mentioned, this should be one big sprue, but it's cut down so that it can fit in the box. So let's start with this one. So being squished in the box, the fuselage parts are a little bit bent on the sprue, but the part itself seems okay. So this is a short run kit, meaning it is done in a limited series, so a few thousands, not a few tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, because the mold is usually made out of soft metal, like copper or aluminium, or they even do resin ones, which means they get quite beaten down with every injection made, which is already visible here. So there are a few scratches on the tooling already, but no flashing. It seems sharp. The plastic seems of good quality, so not soft as they used to do it back in the day, but some minor flashing, which is normal for short run kits. What's also normal is these scratches, but that means when building there is additional attention needed to polish everything down, to put it and to take care after setting the primer, but otherwise this should be a nice build. So this is the cockpit tub, so there's not a lot of details. There is also no decals for the side controls, only for the control panel. So maybe some additional detailing is needed here. And from the other side, also some minor details, but they are included in here, so that's good. As far as I can see, not that much of pins in unusual places. Only there's a big pin mark here in the front wheel bay, and also there's a sink mark here because yeah, of the central console here, which when the plastic is cooled down it shrinks, so every parts that are thick they're pulling from the side, so this is the collateral damage of that, but it can be put it down, and yeah, shouldn't be an easy fix here, so no big deal. So this is the front wheel with its leg. It's quite delicate. There's also a mud flap which looks nice, but yeah, I prefer that the wheel is separate so it can be easily painted, more easily be painted, and yeah, uh, there's that with the short run kit, so one has to live with that or do some scratch building or buy aftermarket. So these are the control sticks, so not much details of them on them, but they're nice. Also the tail has no riveting, but the engraving seems quite sharp and deep enough for it to take the paint and the washes. So all in all, a good representation. There's also the famous NACA intake, which is quite good represented here. So up to the next sprue. It also was a little bit squished down, so the parts get bended, but the part itself is in good shape, so no worry there. The underside has some flashing in the wheelbase, and there's also one difficult pin mark here on the inside, which would be more difficult to fix than the other ones, but not that bad. So there's the air brake, which is really nicely represented here, quite good details. There's only one hole filled up, which I assume it's broken on the tooling, so I assume every other boxing will have the same issue, but that is also an easy fix with a small drill. Otherwise, the panel openings are quite nice represented here, even the raised details. But like with every short run kit, the front edge of the wings after assembly needs quite some filling and sanding, but that's it. So here are the seats, quite Spartan, no great details there, no seat belts that are molded in here, but that's an easy fix with a little bit of tape. What I don't like here are the propellers. Each blade is given separately, and each one is not that goodly molded, has some flashing, maybe a little bit plastic missing, and minor pin marks which needs to be sanded down. There are the wheels. So for this scale, that's okay. As far as details go, landing gear, main legs, and here are some pylons for the weapons and the main landing gear doors. Here are the control panels. Again, a lot of flashing, which is normal for a short run. A little bit of sanding should clear that. And also the exhausts, which are quite detail lacking because they're not drilled in, so that's up to the modeler to do, or to buy their aftermarket. So that would be it. And as for the pylons, additional holes need to be drilled, and from the other side of the wing there are just some minor detailing here for the landing gear base, and yes, the surface is quite rough on the edges, needs some sanding down and adjusting, but that's the way of the short run kit. And last is also the clear part, the canopy, which looks quite nice for a short run kit. I would say even some modern kits don't have such sharp canopies, so no molding line down the middle, which means maybe the geometry is not 100% accurate, but many modelers prefer it this way, and it's not that quite noticeable. Let's see how sharp it goes on the instructions. So pretty sharp. So all good there. No fogging. No additional plastic in other colors. So as far as canopies goes, this is 100% okay. So that's it for this kit. I quite like small propeller planes, especially the ones that we don't get quite the chance to have it in molded plastics. So the only alternative that I know of is having a resin kit of this one. So this tooling is quite welcome from KP, and yeah, there's some minor stuff that are bad here, but considering it's a short run kit, it's okay, and I hope it builds great and that the decals go on fine. So all in all, I give it 8 out of 10. Until next time.